I feel not good because of you have a disease.
I never thought that getting a from my friend was gonna give me gonorrhea. She seemed okay, but here I am with an STD and a leaky.
That's right, it's time to check back in with Lauren, aka the biggest villain we've ever seen on 90 Day Fiancé across all seasons. That includes Angela and Big Ed. And if you missed what happened in the first episode, make sure you go back and watch that. It was my most recent video and it was insane. So without any further ado, make sure you drop a like or else Lauren over here might try to pursue you next. And without any further ado, let's get right on into it, shall we?
Just got back from the clinic, so I have gonorrhea. But mistreatable.
Okay, so we're starting things off with a jovial, I guess you could say, Lauren, who just got back from the clinic, and it's definitely confirmed. Bro's got the big G. But you wouldn't know that he just contracted this disease because he's super happy right now, as if it's just a normal thing in life that everybody deals with, you know? Everybody's out here making out with anybody they can get their hands on and catching diseases left and right.
I take pills for the next week, so 7 straight days of fun pills. One down.
And he's just popping him back in the back of this taxi. Also, I really hope the taxi driver does not speak English, or else he's just really realizing how unfortunate it is that he had to, have the fate of picking up this person right here.
I never thought that getting a from my friend was gonna give me gonorrhea. I really did not expect that to happen.
And he claims, this friend I meet up with all the time, and she gets tested like pretty much every month. So it's just shocking that this could happen. When in reality, he described that he's, going around pretty much weekly, meeting up with multiple new partners. So if anything, it's kind of surprising this hasn't happened before. Or maybe it has, and that's why he's taking this so lightly.
She gets tested regularly, and she seemed okay. But here I am with an STD and a leaky.
Oh, God, dude, why do you have to say it like that? Okay, we are starting things off with a bang. We didn't need a description of what happens to you when you contract this, like we could have looked that up ourselves if you were curious for some reason, but yeah, bro's leaking, and that's no bueno. Just the way he phrased that, I cannot believe that.
The last I left off with Faith, she said she wanted space, and I haven't seen her or spoken to her since yesterday.
And I love how he's like, she says she wanted space, so I've given her all this time. I haven't spoken to her since yesterday. Like, bro, after news like that you dropped on somebody who thought they're having the first love of their life, and you've been dating them for 6 months, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they might need more than just an afternoon and a morning away from you. In fact, if I was Faith, I would block his number and say, F this TV show, go back to America, you absolute weirdo.
And it turns out, when I told her I'm sleeping with people, she was under the impression that only meant sleeping. That didn't translate properly.
So he reveals to his friend back home, remember this girl used to be his fake girlfriend before he was able to fully come out. He's just kind of going over the situation, and even she, who is very used to his antics and the way that he is a little bit appalled that he is handling this in the way that he is. I mean, he is just so acting like this isn't a big deal and that he was in the right by somehow lying about the fact that they were going to be monogamous and then meeting up with people weekly, like I said. Like, that is heartbreaking in itself, but then when you contract a disease right before you fly out to meet the supposed love of your life from those escapades, that is just another level of debauchery.
If Faith is your one true love, are you going to be okay not exploring other people?
And the friend has a super bright idea. She's like, hey, maybe if this is truly the love of your life, you could, just be with her and be monogamous. And he doesn't even say anything back. That seems like such a foreign idea in this guy's mind. He wants his cake and to eat it as well. And even though the, again, supposed love of his life wants to see only him, he thinks it's fair that if he wants to, he should be able to see multiple people, which I'm not saying you can't, but you got to find somebody who's on the same page with that and be honest with them about it from the get-go, which you weren't.
Yeah. I can do it. It's gonna change my life a little bit.
I know you can do it.
But she also was really upset last night. You didn't see it.
And it doesn't sound like he's very convinced. He's kind of like, I mean, I'm sure I could just, hit that for the rest of my life and nothing else and never have fun again. Like, he's so not into this idea. But I also think he's so desperate for housing and finds this, lifestyle that he can live over here in the Philippines to be so much better than the lifestyle he has in America that he's willing to possibly give it a go. But I think this guy's going to be a serial cheater, even if he promises monogamy with Faith. And then on the flip side, Faith herself is out with friends who were supposed to be meeting the boyfriend right now. Like, Lauren is supposed to be here at this nail salon where she's getting her nails done, and instead she has to awkwardly come up with a way to explain the absolutely insane lore that he dropped on her yesterday that pretty much shattered her entire world.
Ano feeling? May apam?
Okay lang.
Paano okay lang?
And clearly she is not interested in telling them because it's a hard thing to admit. I mean, you have this person you've been hyping up to your friends for months now saying, oh, it's the love of my life. We tell each other we love each other every day. And now you have to drop the bombshell that they told you they've pretty much been cheating on you for the entire relationship and caught a disease as a result of that. Also, I think that was like the first day they had met too, or like the second day. So that was pretty much right away that he just broke her heart.
Mali yung decision ko. Ano gagawin ko?
Kaya mo hiwalayan mo.
And obviously the friends are shocked by this. They're trying not to cry as well, but this is a super emotional moment. And as funny as this episode is because of Lauren's, insanity, it's also really sad to realize this is a human on the other end of this that is having her entire world altered. I mean, imagine being 30 and finding your first love of your life and trying to try out this whole love thing. You spent 3 decades by yourself, and that builds up some serious doubt in your mind that you could ever fall in love. And then this happens. That's gonna mess anybody up mentally for literal years after this. So I hope she's able to get some therapy after meeting the monster that is Lauren.
Basta nagugulit ako. Kung karelasyon ko yan, siguro talagang tumakbo na ako. Umalis na ako.
And the friend doing her nails right now is like, look, if it was me, I would have kicked this dude to the curb, especially because you've only met him for 48 hours in real life. Yes, you've had the past half year where you've been falling in love over text and everything, but as we all know, sometimes that can just be full of love bombing and not actually that much of a connection. So when you finally meet somebody in person is when you realize if it's gonna work out or not. And needless to say, Lauren really effed up that first interaction. He's gonna have to do a lot of digging to get himself out of this hole, and I just don't know if I would give him the opportunity. I'm siding with the nail lady here.
Kausapin mo siya, mag-usap kayong dalawa. Yun na nga, di ba, sabi mo na lumipad siya.
And this other friend honestly has a pretty reasonable take though too, which is a take of a very good friend saying, look, it's your life, things are complicated, we're not going to judge you, if you try to give him another chance, but it has to be something that's in your heart that you want to do. And whatever you feel like doing, we as your friends, we're going to support you. So I gotta say, Faith is surrounded by some great friends, and I just don't know if it's going to be worth it trying to keep Lauren around. I mean, you only have so much attachment to this guy. Yes, you think you're in love, but think of how heartbreaking it is, what you're going through right now, and you're probably going to suffer that feeling for the rest of your life if you decide to stay with him. So finally they wrap up this really sad encounter. I mean, that was just awkward, everybody crying while she's getting her nails done, and she decides to text Lauren back at the end of the day saying, okay, let's talk. So let's see how that goes. We all know it's going to be cringy as hell.
Did you want to come in?
I'm not comfortable to go inside. I think we can go outside, maybe in the park.
And good on her for setting boundaries and being like, yeah, I don't want to be anywhere in a hotel room with you right now. Let's go out to a park or something and talk because you're not the person I thought I knew when you flew down here.
Obviously, she deserves an apology. And I want to tell her that I'm willing to be monogamous, but that's if she even wants a relationship with me after this.
Just the way he kind of, raises the pitch of his voice when he says that. I'm willing to be monogamous. It just sounds so fake, and I think she's going to see right through that too. If somebody's only saying they're going to come around to the things that are deal breakers for you when you're threatening to break up with them, that's not a good sign. That's literally one of the biggest red flags of all time, and this dude is just a walking red flag.
What's going on?
I went to the clinic this morning. I get the medicine, so in 1 week it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorting out my stuff. I'm getting my disease cured, so I don't even know why you're mad, babe. Literally, I just need 7 days of pills and I'm gonna stop leaking. Also, side note, I literally have to gag thinking about that. Why the would he tell us that detail? I'm still not over that.
I feel not good because you have a disease. It's alarming.
Yeah, it's very alarming, and it shows what kind of lifestyle this dude's comfortable with. Not that I would ever shame anybody for living their life the way they want to, but you gotta be safe, you gotta be smart when you're doing it, especially when you have a partner that you're actively lying to about the things you're doing. This just reveals so much about how he's willing to hide details from her or omit things, which is just as bad as lying.
We're in this situation because I messed up. I felt like I was communicating that I was sleeping with people, but clearly you didn't understand that.
And now he brings up this weird semantic argument that he actually was truthful. He was saying he was spending the night at people's houses, which he phrased it exactly like that. I'm just spending the night. He didn't say it in a way to where he was explaining what they were doing. And as somebody who's thinking they're in a monogamous relationship, Faith was thinking, oh yeah, you're just spending the night because you're homeless or whatever. Got it. And he's like, you should have read through my words and understood that I meant I was getting toppy from them, from their diseased mouths. Why can't you put 2 and 2 together? No, this is not Faith's fault for not being able to understand your very vague wording on this, and no, that does not count as you being honest. You absolute liar.
You having with them? in every house that you want to go to sleep or sleep over?
And he admits, yeah, pretty much every time I told you I was hanging out with somebody overnight or like spending the night at their house, I was doing that. But then he walks it back. He's like, no, actually, it was just like once weekly, which, okay, that's so much better. Okay, only 52 people a year that you're going through that aren't me. Got it. That's so much better to hear.
Why are you having sex with others? But you always say you love me.
I do love you. And I do care about you.
I do love you. It's just I like to have fun, okay? And my love for you only extends to the good feelings you give me, and I don't really think of you as a person who needs to be told the truth to. So that's why I disrespect you and cheat on you behind your back and then throw it back at you and gaslight you into thinking that you should have known better.
I want to be with you, in a relationship with you. I'm sorry I cheated on you.
And side note, why does this happen a lot in 90 Day, or just when people are speaking to people from another country, they pick up this weird, like, pseudo accent, like, I am not cheating on you. What? That didn't even sound slightly like their regional accent. And he's just, like, for some reason altering the way he talks in this apology as a way to seem relatable. Everything seems so manipulative, and I'm just getting flashbacks of the way that Big Ed would handle arguments with Liz. She would forgive him for the most heinous, ridiculous things, and I kind of get the vibe that Faith is headed the same direction.
I don't know what to do because we're going to Leyte to meet my family.
Yeah.
I tell them that you are my boyfriend.
So then Faith brings up this plan they had that he actually paid for somehow, which is where they're both going down to meet her family, and she was going to introduce her boyfriend. And she says, I am not comfortable telling my family that you're my boyfriend at this point, which is a very good thing. If anything, again, I would not bring his ass anywhere. I would tell him to go F off back home, but this seems like a way to kind of give him another chance. And he really chomps at the bit with this one. He's super excited to hear those words, that he's still able to go meet her family, because that means there's still a chance to manipulate her further.
So you don't want to introduce his boyfriend? What, just this guy?
For now.
Yeah, for now, you're just this guy with the disease too, but I'm sure she's gonna omit that part, which is helping you out. Like, she could call you much worse things than just this guy. Just the fact that he's copping an attitude right now, as if she's not giving him the most ridiculous second chance ever, is just so annoying. Like, this man frustrates me so much.
So I'm happy to be your friend for right now. And hopefully I can become boyfriend again. And then one day, real fiance.
And then we get married, and then I live with you forever, and you pay for my life, right? Like, this dude is just trying to speedrun this whole thing and just get this safe housing over in the Philippines as soon as he can. He could not give less of a damn about her and her feelings. And it's sick to see that he's getting another chance, but I also know that's how this show goes. People make the most frustrating decisions. It's like watching a horror movie, and the person could escape, but they just, make some dumbass decision that makes them get chopped up. So that's it. It sounds like he's gonna have to prove it, and I think the next episode is gonna be them going to meet her family, which should be even more awkward. I am really addicted to this storyline right now. I don't know why, because if anything, I should be grossed out, but hopefully you guys feel the same. So like the video if you enjoyed this one, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out.